So today we're going to get started with just, the basics, the 101 basics of branding and social media, of course, and how to build your digital presence from start to finish. But what is the purpose of social media? I think a lot of times, especially in small businesses, we don't really know where to start. And it ends up just being this place that we just like put information. And that's not really the purpose of it. If you think about where it originated, it was meant for us to keep in touch with one another and to communicate. So really the purpose of social media and digital media for you and your small business is to build a sense of community around whatever it is that you're doing. So you want people to feel like whatever they're seeing online is an extension of what they're going to see if they walk into the room or the front door of your business, right? So the point here is to create a sense of community. So we want you to build and maintain relationships with the people that you're interacting with on a daily basis. So you want to build community in order to build your brand. Now, how do we do that? So we're going to go through each one of these bullet points today. And it honestly, if you break it down, I always like to say you eat an elephant one bite at a time. If you break it down, it is quite simple to get started and to start building community and an audience. So we first have to establish who that audience is. And then we need to make sure that our brand is unified across all channels and even in person, in your physical sense. Then you want to create voice and persona for your brand. You want to determine what your visual identity is going to be. Then you're going to create strategy around how to build that content. And then you're going to create strategy around which platforms to put that content. Then you're going to manage the community that you build. And then, of course, you want to start measuring your results as well. So how do we establish an audience? Here you're looking at a screenshot of the insights on my personal Instagram. So you're looking at an audience. You can see where people live, what their age range is, what their gender is, all of those things. And for you, I think it's important for you to be thinking about that the other way around. Who do you need your primary audience to be? If you own a dance studio, my mom owns a dance studio. She's in year 27. So her primary audience is parents of children who are ranging in ages 2 to 18, basically. She's wanting to reach them first. Her secondary audience is, of course, potential students, so kids who might have digital and social media. We're talking 14 to 18, maybe, hopefully. And then her third audience would be sort of grandparents or other small businesses that she might want to partner with in some way or another. So her primary audience is parents, her secondary audience is her students, and then third might be anyone who interacts with those students like grandparents and that nature.
Miss Mallory, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Just want to confirm, are we still supposed to be looking at the screen that says, what is the purpose of social media?
No. It's not.
Okay, yeah, it never switched.
Oh, no, okay, all right.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for pointing that out. Okay, so we were here. I went through this slide, which is really just an overview of what we're doing here today. So establish the audience, unify your brand, create voice and persona, determine your visual identity, create strategy for content and platforms, then manage that community and manage and measure your results. So that's where we were last slide. And then I was just going through your audiences. So now we should be caught up. Sorry about that. Thank you for stopping me. I appreciate it. So as I was mentioning, we have these 3 audience categories: your primary audience, your secondary audience, and your tertiary audience. So your primary, as I was mentioning, if you own a dance studio, would be the parents of children 2 to 18, depending on what your dance studio focuses in. Secondary would be your students themselves, and then third might be like their grandparents or something like that. So for your business, you'll want to determine who is your primary audience, what is the age range that you're talking to, and I'm sure you've already done that for your overview of your business plan and things of that nature. But it might look a little different for your online audience, and we'll talk a little bit more about who lives where online. But yes, so you'll want to think about who are you trying to reach, and how does that look different on each platform. Okay, to make sure you guys saw the next screen went, right? Unify your brand. Okay, so we want to make sure that we're building consistency and familiarity, trust, recognition. I don't know how many times you guys have been online and you go to search someone's Instagram or see if they're on Twitter, and you're like, is this them? It's the name, but the thing looks different. I can't tell. So that's already, not where we want to be, right? We want people, no matter where they are online, to recognize the brand. You've already done that by establishing your logo, probably establishing your brand colors. If not, that's a great place to start. If you have a logo, but you haven't decided on what your brand colors are going to be, or what you want to convey when people come to your website or come to your online channels, that's a great place to start. The BOC Women's Business Center, we played off of course, the BOC Network logo, because it is the BOC Network logo and the Women's Business Center logo are one and the same, just with different words. So we set the Women's Business Center site apart by pulling from that and then adding things that are just a little bit more feminine. I mean, this is a space for female entrepreneurs, right? So yes, so we have across all platforms, you'll see here in the top left corner, our Facebook looks like here in the left corner, our Twitter, our LinkedIn, this is our website down at the bottom left, and then our Instagram as well. So everything, wherever you go online, looks very similar. And I would encourage all of you to do the same. And you can do that by making sure that all of your profile photos are the same. You'll see here, all of our profile photos are the box circle. And then anywhere that we could add a banner photo, so this is LinkedIn, up in the top left is Facebook, and down in the bottom is our website, all of those banner photos match. You can change those as often as you want. It would just be my recommendation that every time you change them on one platform, you change them on all of your platforms, so that no matter where someone goes, they recognize you and your business. So after you've unified your brand and you've got just the basics down, right? Everything is set, everything looks the same, all of your bios match, you've taken the time to fill out the information about your business, your telephone number, all of those things, then you want to create what we call a voice and a persona. So I work with the Miss America organization, and this box that you see in the bottom left is an example of where we landed on the voice and persona of the Miss America organization as a whole. And you'll want to think about what this is for your brand and for your business, depending on what it is that you do. A lot of times there are businesses or companies or nonprofits that do the type of work that maybe is not traditionally very exciting to the outside world. The thing that comes to mind is accounting or a CPA. And so you'll notice there's a lot of brands online who you are excited by their content and their posts. And that's in direct opposition to the nature of the work that they do. So think about how you can make what it is that you do more exciting to the general population or to the people who are following you online through the way in which you communicate with them. So you'll see here, the Miss America organization liked Chrissy Teigen's wit and her humor and her spirit. And then they also liked Emma Gonzalez's passion for advocacy. And they felt that the sweet spot for that was Reese Witherspoon. So think about sort of the different types of people you see communicate online, and what can you pull from each one of them, and how can you blend those things together to really create a voice that works for you and your business. So in determining your voice and persona, you'll also want to, of course, determine your visual identity, which is what we were discussing in unifying your brand. So how will you use visual elements like graphics and photos to relay a consistent message across all of your platforms? So one of the things you'll notice here on the left-hand side, you're looking at a computer, but this is really a large screenshot of our Instagram grid. And what you'll see here is in this, on the right-hand side, the Rebuilding from Strength workshop. Right below that is another workshop. And what you'll notice on the BOC Women's Business Center platforms is that all of our workshops, the graphics look the same. The colors might change back and forth, but it's always going to look like Small Business Online Workshop, title, the graphic is always going to look the same. And the reason that we've started doing that is because we want to build a consistent visual. So anytime one of those graphics comes across your feed, if you're following BOC, then you're going to know, oh, there's a workshop coming up. Let me check that out and see if that's something that I need to do. So we want to establish a visual recognition that this is a workshop. And you can do that with whether or not you have certain elements of your business that you want to share, that you're going to consistently share. If you create something that looks the same every time someone comes across it, they're going to recognize that that's what it is, and you'll start to build that familiarity with it. You want to use a varied approach, of course, to graphics and photos. You'll notice here that this is really just a lot of graphics, and that's because we started a new online channel in the middle of COVID. And so we don't have one-on-one photos or photos inside the space with clients and things of that nature. So in order for us to build some consistency on the brand channels, we're really using a lot of color and graphics. And as we move into interacting with people face-to-face again, or mass-to-mass rather, we'll be able to take some good photos and sprinkle those in along with our graphics and content. And then lastly, you want whatever it is you're posting to be of quality. One of the things that really, I think, gets lost on some people who are not avid users of social media is that low quality photos that's worse than no photo, right? So if you want to convey a message, you're better off creating a graphic than posting a low quality photo, because low quality photos don't do much to represent your brand, right? And they don't showcase professionalism. But the good news is that all of us, most of us, have some sort of smartphone. So whether you have an iPhone or an Android, most of these newer versions have really great cameras that you can use, and they have lots of great editing tools, so you can make things brighter or lower. And I think we're talking about sort of a second version of this series where we go a little more in depth with some of these tools. But for now, my biggest piece of advice for you using your phone is if you're going to take a photo of something, anytime you zoom on your phone, you decrease the quality of the photo. So my recommendation, if you want some good quality photos for your social and digital channels, is to always just take the photo like regular, and then go in and crop around the subject that you want. Your photo will come out in better quality, and then you don't reduce that quality before you even get a chance to see what the photo looks like. So that's my small tidbit on photos for now. Maybe we'll get to do a little bit more in depth later on. All right, so now you've thought about your voice, you've created a visual identity, unified all of your brands, and now it's like, okay, now what do I do? What am I supposed to be posting? So creating content strategy is incredibly important for your brand, because you want to know what it is that you're sharing, and you want to stick to what I call buckets. So you want to determine 3 or 4 buckets of content that you want to expose your audience to, and then you want to stick to it. So I'll go back to the dance studio because I feel like these are pretty good examples of content buckets. But for instance, you are running a dance studio. You have 4 buckets of content. One of them is studio culture. So you share images and graphics that really capture the warmth and the culture of your studio, and it's about sort of being a family and that kind of thing, right? The second is information, just output of information about what's coming up, what classes are happening, etc. The third might be dance history. You want to educate your audience while entertaining them as well. And then the fourth might be staff tidbits or something. So these might be the 4 areas of content that you stick to always. For your business, depending on what you do, one of the areas might be news or commentary with news. You usually need to decide what types of information you want to be putting out, and then stick to building within those buckets, if you will. And then you want to determine for yourself, of course, many people running their own digital channels, how much time can you dedicate to this? This is very time consuming. And I think there's a lot of misconceptions in the world about social media and digital media and how much time it takes to make something happen. I've noticed this a lot in working with people who are like, oh, let's just throw that up online. Well, that takes time. And crafting the right copy to go with it takes time. Building a graphic to go with it, or choosing a photo to make sure that you're really staying in your brand's visual guidelines. So think about, how much time do I have a week to dedicate to this? mark it off in your calendar, and then sit down and really barrel through planning your content, getting it into a social media planner, which we'll go over, and making sure you're really setting yourself up for the week or the month. One of the really easy things to do in order to get started is there are, several lists out there of calendar, standout moments that are happening in the calendar every month. For instance, September is Opioid Awareness Month, but there's also, National Friendship Day and all these other things. So I would go every month, look into the, online calendars that exist. There's lots of lists, if you just Google it, you'll find something. But essentially sit down and go, okay, September's coming up. These are the things that make sense for me and my business. I'm going to go ahead and highlight these. So you sit down, you create the copy that you're going to do and the post that you're going to do. You get that planned. So now you've got a good chunk of social media content already planned. And then you fill in those gaps each month with things that make sense for you and your business. Build on those existing holidays and awareness days. And then you want to schedule your posts, as I mentioned. We're actually going to go through some of the scheduling tools. I'm going to highlight them for you, and then you all will be able to click through on this presentation when you get when it's sent to you as well. So once you've got your content and you know exactly what it is that you want to say and what you want it to look like, then you need to determine which buckets fit which platforms, and maybe they fit all of them. But you want to be able to engage your audiences in a way that's meaningful. And in order to do that, you kind of need to know who is where and what they're expecting, right? So there we go. Okay. So with Facebook, in numbers, there are 2.5 billion Facebook users, and 54% of them are female. And females are more active users. So that's something to note. They're not there in a much larger sense than men, but they are more active than men. So when you're creating content for your Facebook channels, think about who you're talking to in that sense. One of the other things I'd like to point out while we're here talking about Facebook is that you will want to make sure that you have created what is considered a public page. I have noticed in recent years that there's confusion sometimes about whether or not you should create a whole new Facebook account, or people just not really understanding the difference or how you can manage a public page. You don't have to create a new Facebook account. You personally have a Facebook account probably right now. If not, then you do. You need to create an account. But if you have a personal Facebook page, you can create a public page that you can then manage from your end. So no one on your public page will have access to your private Facebook or anything like that. It's just a tool by which to manage your public facing page. And when this is all over, I'll go really quickly and just show you all how to do that and how to get there if there's any questions about that. So what are we using Facebook for? Facebook, as you've probably noticed, if you're on it, is really great for community conversation. People really love to share their opinions there, and it's a great place to instigate conversation, to be honest. So the global average user of Facebook is 18 to 34, but the most active users, so just because 18 to 34-year-olds are the average user, that doesn't mean they're actually on Facebook using it. They just have an account, right? So the most active group of users are 50 plus. So keep that in mind as well. So you're talking to 50 plus women, most likely, on Facebook. So you want to keep your Facebook posts short and sweet. They say that 100 words or less is ideal. I think that we've seen over and over again that brands really use Facebook as a chance to share a little bit more information. So see what's working with your audience when you get there. You want to frequently ask questions to engage and create conversation, engage people in and create conversation. And then Facebook is a place where you can post 1 or 2 times a day. Any more than that is probably too much for your audience, and Facebook will start to hide your posts through their algorithm if you're posting too often. So 1 time, 2 times max a day. And you really want to create a space where people feel that they can come and comment. So if you're sharing an upcoming event, end that post with, are you going to join us? Or tag someone who could join us. Really encourage people to comment and activate on those posts. So that's what we're using Facebook for. Now we're looking at LinkedIn. A lot of people forget about LinkedIn, especially in the world of small business and small nonprofits. And it's really a great place for us to network, of course, but also to share information. And LinkedIn is just a little bit different than Facebook in a few ways. LinkedIn's got much fewer users. 57% of those users are male and 24% are millennials. People are using LinkedIn, as I'm sure you know, for professional networking, but they're also coming here for resources. Often people search LinkedIn if they're looking for a better way to do something, or they're looking for ideas. And more than that, LinkedIn is used for thought leadership. This is where people come to share their thoughts on the world of business. You might notice that there's a lot of recruiters who share their thoughts on how to hire and how to fire and things of that nature. Well, you can do the same thing with your business. You can be a thought leader in whatever it is that you do by sharing tidbits of wisdom or information or things that you've learned. You can share articles that are relevant to your business with a little extra on top that's coming from you personally. So I really would encourage you to make your use of LinkedIn one that is more seamless. I am 31 going on 32, and LinkedIn is not something that myself or my friends, I feel, really latched onto. And in an effort to be better, I have recently turned on my notifications to LinkedIn. I have all my other notifications of social and digital platforms turned off, but I'm trying to really do better about using LinkedIn on a regular basis. And so there's little tips and tricks that you can do like that for yourself. If you don't like Twitter or Instagram and you're not usually using it, doing something simple like turning certain notifications on to remind you to go look at that platform might be helpful. So LinkedIn's network, of course, is ripe with resources, and we want you to join the conversations there and make connections with both your personal and business page. And LinkedIn operates the same way that Facebook does. You have your personal LinkedIn page, and then you can create a business profile or a business page for your business that you can manage both at the same time. Keep your posts about business or growth in your genre or area of expertise. If you're on LinkedIn, LinkedIn has taken a little bit of a Facebook toll here in this election year. And I think a lot of people really appreciate that LinkedIn is solely a space for business. So keep that in mind, not posting about political things or social commentary. It's much more a space for business and resources. Ask questions here to engage users and create conversation as well. You're going to post once every day or every other day on your business page. And then you want to follow, of course, relevant pages for content inspiration. And that goes across all platforms. Okay, so what about Twitter? A lot of people, my dog is dreaming. She's making all sorts of noise. I'm sorry. So what is Twitter for? So Twitter has 330 million users, 500 million tweets per day. 34% of users are female, 66% are male, and 80% of Twitter users are affluent millennials. So Twitter is a whole different beast than some of the other platforms, and as I'm sure you all know, moves very quickly. It's a place that you kind of have to be in order to have an impact. And so a lot of people keep Twitter up on their desktop while they're working, and maybe they have certain notifications for maybe certain news organizations or things so that they can chime in if they want to. It really depends on what the nature of your business is and how relevant using Twitter all day long might be, but it is a great place to cultivate relationships. It's a great place to network. And I just don't think a lot of people look at it that way, but it really is. I have met people on Twitter who are now great friends that I didn't know before we, engaged in conversation online. And I've made great business relationships and HR connects on Twitter as well. So don't sleep on Twitter. It's a great place for your business to be if you use the platform well. So Twitter is definitely not a place just for output of information. You can sprinkle in output information that this is coming up or this is what's happening in our business. But really, this is a place to jump into what's trending and talk about things that are in the now and relevant. So it says here, you'll want to alternate between just disseminating information and joining conversations. Of course, ask questions and engage users, but you also want to respond to what's happening on your timeline as well. Chiming in with 2 or 3 words can really build your online community there. You want to engage multiple times a day for best results, and you want to follow and comment on relevant accounts. Depending on the nature of your business, you'll want to create a community around what it is that you do. So, going in and finding some of the other businesses that do what you do, or maybe business models that you really like, but they're across the country, follow them, get inspiration from them, communicate with them. It'll help you build your audience that way. And then Instagram, we're just talking about the big 4 today. Instagram, 1 billion users, 500 million daily users, 100 million photos uploaded every day. 25 million businesses are on Instagram, and 65% of the users are under 34. So I'm giving you some of these age demographics so you know who you're talking to. For instance, on Twitter, you're talking to, under 35 affluent men. On Instagram, you're talking to under 34 and people who are used to the world of visual. The psyche of people who are on these channels and where they live is different. So really wanting to think about that as you create content that goes there. So Instagram, you really should think about it in 2 sort of separate blocks. So you've got your grid, which is where you upload those photos that live and they stay there. And one of the things that's really important is, what does that grid look like all together? So on the front iPad that you see here, again, this is our Instagram grid. All of it looks cohesive. It matches, but there's enough variety there. So you want to think about, as you're posting photos and content, what does it all look like when you pull up Instagram and look at your brand's page? So you want to look at it from that perspective. So it's not just one photo at a time, because people really look at this from a holistic view like you see here. So you've got your grid. That's where you want content that's meaningful, that is high quality photos, like I mentioned, or is really purposeful. Then you can use your Instagram story for updates, or you can talk straight to the camera. Instagram story is gone after 24 hours. So, it's great for sharing timely information. You can use the question box to get feedback from people who are following you. Using the story function is a lot more in the now and in the moment, and isn't quite so long lasting, right, as your grid. So you have these 2 different ways to use Instagram and to use it effectively. So you want to stick to your specific visual guidelines for your grid, but you don't have to do that for your story necessarily. So if you want to share something for another brand, your story is a great place to do that, because you can highlight something without having to impact the way that your visuals look for your brand. You'll want to figure out when your audience engagement is high. Most people are on Instagram at night between 7 and 10 p.m. You'll want to use hashtags and locations to increase your visibility. As you all probably know at this point, hashtags are used to aggregate information, and you can follow hashtags as well without following people. So say you are a woman in business. There's a hashtag women in business. You can follow the hashtag and therefore be introduced to a bunch of new brands or new people through that follow. So you'll want to use those types of hashtags so that people can discover you online in an organic way. And then, of course, on Instagram, this is not the place to do long posts, write a lot. You'll notice that there are some people, especially some influencers, who kind of like write a book on Instagram. That's not really the use of that space. Keep your copy short and sweet. Give people the information that they need to know, and keep it moving, because people are there. If you're on, they're scrolling. So make it short and sweet for them. Anything more than 4 or 5 sentences, they're not likely to read. All right, so once we've established our platform strategy, you know what's happening on each platform. Now you want to manage your community. You want to start testing what type of content is working on Facebook and LinkedIn. Are people responding when I ask questions? And so what you want to be able to do is know that no matter who comments, that you have the ability to respond. So the top box here says follow, like, and subscribe to brands that fit in your primary, secondary, and tertiary audiences. So you could go, look around online. I'll go back to the dance studio. Say you're on a dance studio, you might follow World of Dance, which is a TV show. Go look and see who's commenting on World of Dance. Engage with some of those people because you know that you have a common interest, which is dance, right? And then the second box here says comment and like on other posts to build familiarity. And this does take some time. It takes time for you to go and find someone else, comment, etc., like other people's posts, but the return will be worth it. You'll start to see people follow you and engage with your brand as well. And as I mentioned, you'll want to respond to every comment on every platform. Let your audience know that you're there, that you're listening, you're accessible, and within reason. If something is really negative, we don't have to do that. But yeah, respond and engage these people in conversation. They want to feel like there's someone there that they're talking to. And then, of course, lastly, you want to be able to measure your results. All social media platforms have the ability for you to look at your insights. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. You can see how many people have liked your page in a week. You can see how many people are engaging with your page, clicking through to your website. How many people are you reaching? You can see all of those numbers on all of the platforms. And most platforms have step-by-step like walkthrough to get you there. But for right now, I'm going to walk through each platform really quickly and just do a little bit of pointing around for you. So give me a second to get up to the other screen and we will do that. 1 second. Okay, so we're here on Facebook. You'll notice I'm actually logged into the BOC network accounts. So Nancy is the BOC network executive director, and this is a profile, right? But what we're looking at here is the Women's Business Center's page. So if you are on your regular home screen, this is probably what it looks like to some degree, right? You see your timeline of people, you've got these things here on the left-hand side. And so, oh, I guess I should ask, can you guys see my pointer?
In and out. It's in and out.
The pointer is in and out? Okay. Okay. I will do better at verbally describing what's happening. Okay. So on the left-hand side of your Facebook screen, you see your name. Underneath that, you have different options heading down. On the very right-hand side of your Facebook screen, there is a little arrow. If you click that arrow, it takes you to what says Your Pages. So we have several pages under the BOC network right now for our different programs that we offer. But say you want to start a page for your business and you have not done that yet. You want to go to this little thing here that says Manage Pages. So it's going to take you to a more extended version of all of those pages that you have. Up here in the top right of this block, you can click Create a Page. So if you create a page, you'll choose here business or brand, and then you will fill out the steps one by one from there. Once your page is created, I'm going to back up. So let's go back to the Women's Business Center page. Once your page is created, you can see here in the left-hand corner, there is an option to update your profile photo. And then you can update your cover photo by clicking Change Cover. And then you can also edit your page info up here in the right-hand corner where it says Edit Page Info. If you click on this, you have a lot of different options for information sharing, right? So that covers Facebook, how to create a public page, how to manage it. And by manage it, I mean, anytime you get on Facebook, if you want to post something to your public page, you're going to go here to this arrow, choose your page, and then you would treat it like any other Facebook page. Create a post, publish it. One of the other tricks I'll show you here on Facebook while we're here Sometimes people get intimidated by content planning and planners. So just so you know, you can schedule posts for later in Facebook. This post will go up later. Yeah. When you go here, you'll see at the bottom of this post, it says publishing tools. If you click on this, well, something will happen. There we go. You can create a post here. You can write this post. This post will go up later. And see, it says newsfeed. It says share now. You want to go, no, let's share it later. And then you're going to choose a date and a time for it to go up later, right? And then you'll hit schedule. So this is a great way for you to go ahead and get that week set up on Facebook if you'd like to. Figure out everything you want to see happen over the next week, and make sure that you have it all scheduled in your Facebook if you'd like to. All right, moving on to Twitter. Let's get to BOC Network's account. So one of the things that's great about Twitter, of course on Facebook, you can toggle between your private and public pages just in that same way. When you open up your Facebook on your phone, you have the option, let me make sure I'm not lying. You have the option in the bottom, I'm gonna show you, in the bottom right-hand corner of your Facebook app on your phone. If you click on that, you can go to your pages and you can click on your page and manage from there. So Twitter allows you to toggle back and forth between accounts as well. Twitter allows you to do that on both your phone and on a desktop. So you'll see here, my personal Twitter is here and BOC Network is here. So I'm on BOC Network now. Your Twitter profile is where if someone comes to your page, this is what they get. So BOC Network, we're on the network and not the Women's Business Center at the moment, which is why the headline doesn't look the same as those others. So here you can also schedule tweets if you would like. You hit tweet, you'll see here at the bottom, there's a little schedule option. So you can go ahead and schedule tweets throughout the week, your sort of your informational ones. But again, you'll want to spend some time on Twitter looking at the things that are trending. Excuse me. So today, I think we're all women here, right? 19th Amendment for some women, not all women. But that is trending today. And so a lot of people are joining this conversation. So this is a great way for you to go in. You can click Explore. Explore will show you some of the latest news. It says US trending, gaming trending. This is depending on some of your interest for your account. Some of it's really just what's going on in the world. But if we go back to our home, this is where we're seeing anyone that we follow, their posts are coming up. And you're also going to see these trending topics here on the side. So if any one of these things that's trending is relevant to you and your business or some of the work that you guys do, jump into the conversation. You can click on the 19th Amendment, see what people are saying, comment on what they're saying, retweet what they're saying. Any one of those things is going to help you build presence on Twitter. Okay, over to, nope, not this LinkedIn. Let's go over to LinkedIn. One second. Oh. I see, sorry, I just noticed this question. Let me know if I answered it for you. Georgina, you said, how do you keep your personal Facebook separated from your business Facebook? Did I answer that when I was going through the separate, sort of how to tab them on and off? Okay, Georgina. Oh, I did. Okay, great. All right, thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen again. We're gonna get to LinkedIn. And I'm going to show you again how to do that same thing in creating a public page. So what you're looking at is my personal LinkedIn page. If you can see my pointer, under my profile here, you see my pages. It says there's 6. This means I have access to 6 pages that are public. So Business Outreach Center Network has a public facing page, and I am an admin on this network page, okay? But say I want to create a new page. So I'm going to go up here to the top of where this square is. You see these? It says work right next to my photo. And all the way down at the bottom, you can say create company page. So this, just like Facebook, allows you to toggle between your personal page and a public facing page. And just like Facebook, you're going to go in and go, okay, we're a small business. You write your name, you're going to upload your, you're going to create your own URL. So if your company name is, I have a company called Hagen Strategies. So linkedin.com/company/Hagen Strategies. So you'll want to make it match your handles for Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of that. So anyway, you can go in, you can create this public facing page, and it operates just like any other public facing page on Facebook and things of that nature. So does anyone have any questions about LinkedIn's public facing page creation? If so, feel free to drop that in the chat. I'll take a look. Okay, all right. If that's the case, I'm going to quickly move on to the next part of our presentation, which is that I have aggregated some useful tools for all of you to use in getting started, some things that are helpful in sharing information, creating content, and things like that. I'm getting to the screen. Here we go. Okay, so you all should be seeing the screen that says Tools for Success. I've aggregated some of these tools for you. I will walk through 3 of them. So here we have Canva. Canva is actually what I've used to create this presentation. It's a great tool for creating flyers, Instagram, Facebook graphics. You can create presentations, thank you notes. You can create it, click straight to print. You can create it and animate it if you want to. So you can create little short videos for your social media channels. There's a lot you can do with Canva. We are past the age of needing a graphic designer in order to get your message across. Graphic designers are really necessary for some of our bigger projects, of course, but you don't have to be a Photoshop or an InDesign whiz in order to make something that looks nice for your brand. So Canva is a really great tool to do that. Now, these other 3 tools that you see here are social content planning. They allow you to go in and use a scheduler and plan Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all in the same space. They are, Hootsuite is, I think it's $23 or $24 a month for, 4 or 5 social channels and 2 or 3 users. So that's perfect for a small business. It's really a great tool to see everything all laid out in the same space. You can look at it in a calendar view, and so you can see what's coming up and what time it's gonna all go out. So really helpful. Buffer allows you to do the same thing. And then Planoly is something that people use that are really more focused on Instagram. It's a much more visual element platform and allows you to see your grid and what things look like and move things around in that way. So those are all worth playing around with, but Canva is the one I'm going to walk you through in just a minute after I show you the next 2. So this one here on the left is called Linktree. There are different ways to share links in your bio. I find Linktree to be the easiest and the most simple for small business use. So Linktree is, on Instagram, people say link in bio. Well, there's only an option to share 1 link at a time. On Instagram, as I'm sure you've realized, you cannot put a link in the caption. You can't link someone from the words that you're sharing. So a quick way to share multiple links at once, or to be able to share lots of information at once with your audience, is to have a link tree. And a link tree allows you to have several blocks at once. And then the last tool that I'm sending over, and again, all of these link through, so when you guys get this PDF, you can just click here and it'll take you to this platform. But this is the image color picker. And often you see a photo or you like a graphic or something, but you don't know the actual image, the color number. And so the image color picker is just a really great online tool that allows you to upload a photo, upload a logo, something of that nature, and you can find out what colors are in it so that you can use them for your graphics if you'd like to. So I'm going to walk you through, the first one I'm going to walk you through is Canva. Oh no, I clicked through. Hold on one second. I'm going to stop share. So there we go. So Canva, what you see here is, I'm going to take you to the home page. So when you open up Canva, this is what you're going to see. It'll ask you to put in your email address. The most basic version of Canva is free. And you can pay for upgrades like free stock photos or the ability to download things without a background. There's a lot of benefits to paying for Canva, also about $23, $24 a month. But let's say you'd like to create a Facebook post for your next post. It's really simple. You go up to this right-hand corner, you click Create a Design. Canva gives you tons of options. See this? All sorts of things already, sized out and anything you could possibly want. But we're going to do a Facebook post. So you click on Facebook. If you are not the most creative person, that's okay, because Canva gives you so many options for templates. Look, Facebook sale, Halloween, food, birthday, summer, spring, etc. You have option after option after option. So one of the things we talked about was creating that visual identity and making sure it's consistent across the board. So you can take a simple Facebook post that they already have and say these aren't your brand colors. Say your brand colors are neon pink and orange. So you're going to go up here and you can change the color of these, the text here. Let's say that and this. You can, maybe you don't like that it's so blue. You want to change the background to better fit your branding. You don't like this font. You can change the font if you'd like to. There's so much you can do with this particular tool. And it's really fun when you get to start playing around with it and, add some of your creative flair to whatever it is that you're posting. I personally hate this thing that I just made, but the point was to show you all the ways that you can make changes here. Or say you're like, oh, I like this, but I need to add more to it. You can make a duplicate of the page and write something else here if you'd like to. There's all sorts of options. You can add music. You can animate. Let's see, animate the post. Let's animate this one. So you can make this little video for Facebook. There's so many options here for ways to play around with this tool. It really is changing the game for social media and for small businesses and things like that. So I highly recommend using Canva. Like I said, the most basic version of it is free. Once you've created something you like, you can publish straight to Facebook. I don't really recommend that, but you can also just download here. There are different options. You want an image file, a PDF, a print file. You want to make the video so that you see the graphic that we did, or you can do a GIF where it just plays on a loop. So there's lots of options. So Canva is one tool that I was wanting to show you. Linktree is another. Let me make sure, can you guys see the Linktree page here?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so Linktree, I'm gonna go to admin. I don't actually know which Linktree I'm signed into, but we'll see what happens. Oh, so this is my personal, yay, you get to know a little bit about me. This is my personal Linktree. So when you go to my Instagram account, and I need to share information with you, here are all the links that exist on mine. So I have I am big into activism, so I have options for people to take action. Then I've got some of the interviews that I've done in life, and then my website's here at the bottom. But for your business, let's switch it out. You'll create a username. There we go. Create a username, sign in. You can, just like everything else, update your branding to match your business. So we've got the logo here. Linktree doesn't give a whole lot of appearance options, but you can make some changes in the free version of this platform. For instance, I could make this a white background instead of black. There's a couple of different things you can do here to make things more fun. There's a pro version. It's not really necessary, but it's there if you want it. And so you want to add a new link. It's as simple as entering whatever you want the name of the link to be. Add the link there, and now you've got a full page of links to add to your Instagram profile. And this is just, like I said, a great way to share multiple things at once with your audience. So you've got an RSVP coming up and your website and that's a great thing to share all at the same time. And then the last thing I was going to share with you guys was hold on, let me get to the color picker. Here we go. Can everyone see the color picker page?
Yes.
Thank you. Without anyone's faces on here, it's hard to get any reaction. Okay, so in order to figure out what colors are in an image, you want to select an image. Let's see. Here's a great image of Lacey. Okay, so this is one of our Women's Business Center's clients. I want to know, what is the color blue in her shirt? So I'm going to scroll over this color blue, and here it's going to tell me the number that it is. This is the most used version, the hex HTML color. So I can copy this and say I go back over to our Canva here, and I want to make these letters match her shirt. So I'm going to create a new color, add that in. So I just pasted that color that I just found, and voila. Now I have the blue that matches Lacey's shirt in this photo. So that comes in handy. Say that I wanted to make this background Lacey. Let me find her. So I've added an image into my Canva. I'm going to put it, I'm going to make her the background of this graphic. And maybe I fade her out a little bit so you can see her back there, right? So there's a lot of different ways that you can use the color picker to enhance whatever the graphics are that you're making. And with that, those are the 3 tools I wanted to show you all. Let me open up you all again. And that is, I believe, the end of our presentation. And I'll take some questions now if you all have any or anything I can clarify for you.
I see some questions on the Zoom group chat.
Yeah, okay, let me go through them. So are these stock photos? There's a tremendous amount of stock photos on Canva, and you don't have to pay for all of them. There are some that are free. You can also opt to pay for single use in Canva. So say you don't want to spend $24 a month on Canva, although to be honest, it'll be the best $24 a month you spend. But if you don't want to, you can make purchases in the site itself. I don't know why I couldn't get that out. So if you like a photo, it's usually like $1. So you can click to use that photo and pay for just the photo itself. So there are options to pay for individual elements and things of that nature too. Does Canva work with Constant Contact?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure I know what you mean, Irina. Are you allowed to copy the image? So, well, let me, oh, if you purchase, okay, let me go back into Canva and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. 1 second, share screen. So if you like an image and it is free in Canva right now, let's go into the photos. Which, okay, this is a good example. This says, see how this says Pro? It says, as a Canva Pro subscriber, you get this premium image for free. But there are free pictures. And it is my, I believe, well, it used to be, Canva updates pretty regularly. It used to be that you could just click on this little dot and download directly to your computer. But another way of doing that would be to put this photo, say we like this picture. So we just download this as a PNG. And now I've downloaded this photo to my computer. You can do that. You can do that with any one of the photos that's there that's free to you. And then you can also pay for these stock photos too. There are stock photos that you are allowed to use for free without paying for the monthly use of Canva. So anytime you go in here, if you just click on photos, oh, I thought it might separate them out by free, oh, filter, free. So yeah, when you go into the, sorry, like I said, they change things around here every once in a while. You click on the filter to the right, you can search for color photos based on their orientation, or if you're looking only for free photos, click on free, apply filters, and then you'll be able to see which photos are available to you to use regardless of your status as a paid customer. Glad that you enjoyed it. Thank you. Can I share the last slide again, please? Let me get there. Actually, this is a great opportunity for me to show you the slide in Canva that I made. So you see here, this says your designs. So here are some of the things that have been worked on, you know, here in Canva. Clicking on this is actually the presentation that was made for these workshops here. So I've created the workshop. Each one of them has a, see it's animated, so you can animate these. And then it also allows you to present straight from your Canva. So if you guys are doing your own webinar, you're communicating with clients and you want to present to them, you can present straight from Canva itself. But you asked for the last slide. So these are the last couple of slides. Another great tool here is that I can minimize this so you can see multiple things at once if you'd like. Canva is like PowerPoint and steroids. Yes, it is. Okay, does anyone have any more questions? Or I believe, Tenzin, you're going to send them this PDF as well. And then both this workshop and the workshop before will be on our YouTube channels. And we'd be remiss if we didn't say, we want to make sure you guys are following us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and subscribed on YouTube as well. All of our workshops that we do will be up on YouTube, and they're also up on our website. So we'd love for you guys to be following along and make sure you're getting those updates when we upload new things that might be helpful to you.
Okay. So if everyone don't have any questions, we'll end the presentation here. Thank you, Mallory.
1 second, I'm going to answer the what is our
One more
YouTube.
question? Okay.
1 second.
Mm-hmm.
This that I'm linking you through to will take you to our playlist. And we would love for you guys to subscribe.
An information section to explain how these groups work
Noise.
on.
There we go. All right. If that's it, then. Thank you guys, everyone. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Mallory. Thank you, everyone. Bye. Have a good day.
Bye.
Thank you.